Weightlifting can be a hot topic amongst endurance athletes, with some staying away from it completely while others claiming its benefits. Well, I'm pretty sure everyone has seen the professional and elite level athletes hitting the gym in their off season, and not just doing a few planks, but actually lifting weights. So there must be something to it. But should it apply to the amateur athlete as well? Stick around to find out. My name is Pedro, and I'm a professional triathlete and coach. I was the first Portuguese athlete to win a full distance Ironman, and for the past years, I'm also helping others as a coach to achieve their goals in the sport. Let's face it, triathlon is already a very time-consuming sport, and now someone is saying that aside from swim, bike, and run, we should actually add squats and deadlifts. In a sport where everyone wants to be a lightweight, we do have to carry our weight through the entire duration of the race after all. It is no surprise that the idea of stepping foot in the gym can generate some debate. First, it's hard not to envision the stereotype body of a gym aficionado with his massive biceps. Do we really want to add extra muscle mass or volume to our body? Secondly, weightlifting does not tax your aerobic system, so how can it possibly help endurance athletes? The thing is, not all gym work means more volume or mass, and what we want as triathletes or endurance athletes is to add strength to our body, and that's why it's important to consider adding a gym routine to your training plan. Studies where protocols used as primary goal gaining strength versus volume have shown that incorporating weightlifting in well-trained athletes' routine did improve work efficiency and power output. The explanation behind these results is that a proper weightlifting routine recruits more muscle fibers, and that helps the body use our muscles more efficiently in exercise, even if it's endurance or aerobic exercise. During weightlifting, the body learns to use more of the muscle fibers in general and prevents different types of fibers of fighting each other when in stress. Weightlifting also seems to have a positive effect on our neuromuscular efficiency and conversion of fast twitches fibers into more fatigue-resistant muscle fibers. The most fascinating part about all of this is that even without taxing your aerobic system, most of the studies show that endurance athletes that incorporate weightlifting protocol into their training plan improve their time to exhaustion, very simply because they become more efficient at using the muscles they already have. A wobbling 15 to 20% increase on time to exhaustion is mentioned on most studies I've read about the subject. This makes it clear that weightlifting can make the muscles more efficient and will materialize into more watts being produced without an overall weight gain. Especially in cyclists, this will translate into an improvement of watt per kilo ratio without gaining, obviously, kilo. Just gaining watt. So even endurance athletes can benefit from weightlifting, not because it will improve their aerobic system, but very simply because the body learns to better recruit motor units and doing it so more efficiently, which will later reflect into better running and cycling economy. Without negative effects, strength training done properly not only has positive effects on performance in endurance sports, but also other side benefits as injury prevention or improved quality of life, but above all, more watts being produced. With that being said, the question is, when and how is weightlifting beneficial? Timing for once, it is important, as there is a point in the season when endurance sessions or more sport-specific sessions should not be replaced by lifting barbells. Triathlon is a very time-consuming sport, and the point that I want to make here is that while weightlifting is beneficial, It should not take away from the normal program, and this is more true as the race season approaches. I believe that you can also achieve some of the benefits of weightlifting using other type of work incorporated into your endurance sessions, such as overgear work or low cadence, but combining the two, weightlifting and low cadence work, will give the bigger gains. I believe it is best to start on the off season when there are no races or high intensity sessions in the foreseen future. Weightlifting does cause damage to muscle fibers, and it's not advisable to be doing high intensity intervals with broken down muscles. Therefore, starting in the beginning of the season allows for strength building, muscle recovery, all this before strength building and muscle recovery, all this before the high intensity intervals start to show up in your training plan. How the exercises are done is also relevant. In weightlifting, how much weight, how many repetitions, how many sets, and how long of a rest period between sets and repetitions lead to very different results. For example, a high repetition number with low weight will activate slow twitches, which is what we do in most endurance sessions or most of our endurance workouts. And for that reason, I feel like it's not as necessary of a weightlifting type of workout. Then we have the traditional bodybuilding exercise, low reps with heavy weight. This is the exercise that activates the type 2 fibers, known as fast twitches, and also the one that builds strength. But there are a few differences between the routine that will create more muscle mass, called as hypertrophy, and one that builds strength. In strength training for endurance athletes is recommended few repetitions with increasing weight, and most importantly with bigger rest periods, at least 3 minutes up to 5 minutes. It is important to note that there are other factors here at play. Aside from the routine itself, in bodybuilding, as in any other sport, nutrition plays an important role in that muscle mass creation. While obviously nothing replaces working with a coach that can prescribe a custom plan made for you considering your needs and limitations, I'm going to give you a few guidelines, general guidelines I can share. Start on the off season when there are no races or high intensity sessions in the foreseen future. If gym workout or gym work is something new to you, if you never stepped foot in a gym, start by doing exercises using only body weight and focusing on form. And if you're coupling a gym session with an endurance session, such as a swim or a run, do the gym workout first before you're fatigued. Do about 10 to 15 repetitions of every exercise and just focus on form. A couple of weeks in, and once form has become more comfortable, weight can be added, about 70 to 75% of your 1 rep max. And it is okay to move the gym session to after your endurance session. At this point, it's beneficial to do an adaptation to weightlifting phase, meaning a high number of repetitions, say 3 sets of 10 to 12. Remember to always focus on form with a weight that is sustainable on this phase. About 4 weeks of body adaptation is a reasonable time frame. Finally, once the adaptation phase is done, switch to maximum strength, which would be 3 sets of low reps and heavy loads, say more than 85% of your 1 rep max. This is how research has shown that strength is gained and over volume. And this workout, this max strength phase, could be up to 6 weeks a year. Overall, I'm talking about 8 to 10 weeks with 2 or 3 sessions of weightlifting sessions per week in order to maximize your performance. Again, please keep in mind that this is just a suggestion and that does not replace the need for the guidance of a coach. because the order of exercises and which exercises you do are also a relevant factor. And while gaining strength is obviously not unlimited, there is a long way before most of us hit the plateau or not get the big benefit from hitting the gym for more than just the treadmill. And I hope this video helps you understand a little bit more about weightlifting. How can you use it to improve your performance in endurance sports, and catch up next week for a new video about training or triathlon in general. Thank you for watching.